Hello there, and welcome to my channel. I'm Karen Janine. I'm the AI Pro CFO. I simply help leaders and executives turn clarity into monetized, measurable results. Measurable, monetized results. Whichever one comes first for you, you get it. Today, I'm going to be talking about what does your company need from you to double your revenue. It's the time of the year where everybody starts to plan for next year, plan for profits, plan to raise revenue, plan all the things, right? And it's easy to just throw a number out there. But instead of doing that, here's what I want you to do. Start with the question and just kind of sit with the question. What does my company need from me in order to double revenue? I'm going to give you three things to think through and three principles or food for thought for you to think through as you're answering this question. The first thing, what your company probably needs from you is to redefine value. Most people try to double revenue, increase revenue, get from 6 to 7 figures, 7 to 8 figures, 8 figures to 9 figures, before really clarifying what value means in their business. Revenue follows value, and value follows clarity. So once you get clear on what the value is in your business, you'll be that much closer to doubling your revenue, increasing, getting to that next level. So what does that mean? I believe that many organizations, I've worked with businesses who have multi-million dollars in the bank and in revenue. And one of the things that I find for me as a CFO, the most disturbing, but the most underutilized thing is data, right? We aren't using our data. So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about in these, what do you do, right? So what do you do to redefine value? You use the data that you have in your business. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to map where your clients feel value or what your clients feel value in your offers, not what you sell them, right? Because you came up 9 times out of 10, you came up with the offer or whatever it is, the service that you provide based off of what you thought that the market need, maybe market research. But now that you've worked with people, they've told you what they are actually paying for. Where do you get this information? I'm so glad you asked. Where you get this information is in your discovery calls, in your sales calls, in meetings, follow-up meetings that you have with your clients. They actually tell you what they're actually paying for, why they pay you month over month, why they pay you every time you have something to offer. And then I want you to identify, right? Identify what parts of your offer is driving the margins, because not every part of the offer drives the margin. Some just really keep you busy. So I want you to narrow down what the value is in your offer. So the first thing, we are valuing what our clients value, right? We're understanding what our clients value. The next thing, we're valuing what's valuable within the offer in the company. And then ask yourself this question, or these two questions actually. If I doubled the investment for this offer, one, could the rest of the business sustain it? And two, does it still hold value? Whoo, that's good. That's getting good. That gave me chills. Ask yourself, if I doubled the investment for this offer. So if you've got a 10K offer, if you just took that offer as it is and doubled it to 20, can your company sustain the capacity of it, right? Can the business sustain being able to, hold it at that value? And does the offer itself still hold the value? Does it still hold value? If it doesn't, you don't really have a scalable offer. And when you talk about doubling revenue, when you talk about increasing revenue, now you're talking about scaling the results that are already happening in your business. So if there's something off there, redefining the value, do those things. When you do those things, you will get clarity of what value really means in your business, what value really means to you as the executive or business owner, and what value is in your offers. You see that triple layer? Let's keep going. You are going to, second thing, upgrade the decision maker. You are most likely the decision maker. And a company cannot outgrow the quality of the decisions that you make. The company will not outgrow the quality of the decisions that you make. So doubling your value, doubling in revenue means doubling your discernment. Come on now. Come on. Doubling your value means doubling your discernment. So what's the real work here? Glad you asked again. I want you to audit the last 5 decisions. Think about the last 5 decisions that you had to make. I don't care when they were, how far you got to go back. The last 5 major decisions that you had to make for your business. And just ask yourself, which one was reactive and which one was strategic? Was this a reactive decision, reacting out of my feelings, out of how I felt, out of how I felt like I needed to react to a situation, or was it strategic to our mission, value, and vision of the organization? Am I moving the organization? Did this decision help to move the organization, or did it just help to move my feelings out of the way? Set decision filters, right? Criteria that can help you define or help you decide what to delegate, what actually gets your time, and what gets declined. And I think what you'll find when you do this audit is that a lot of the decisions that you're actually making aren't yours to make. Yeah, I know. We want to make the decisions because we believe we're the decision makers. But I strongly and firmly believe that you are leading leaders around you. If you don't give them the opportunity to make the decisions and to rise up as a leader, then you aren't leading well. That's another conversation. That's another video. I'm not going to go there today. Learn to measure decisions by long-term capacity, not by short-term relief. Let me say that again. Learn to measure decisions by long-term capacity and not by short-term relief. When you're building a business that is going to be around for a while, now, if you decided that your business isn't going to be around for a while, that this is just kind of like a hobby, you're kind of taking advantage of a moment, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about those who want their business to be around for years to come, like they're leaving a legacy. So they're living the legacy that they want to leave. Then you have to start making decisions that are built on the long term and not on short term relief. And then the third thing, scaling your business, doubling your revenue requires you to have systems. So this is systemize your wins. Systemize your wins. Once you know your value, and once you make better decisions, which we talked about in 1 and 2, now your job is to make the success repeatable without burning out your people. And let me add that you are your people. So even without burning you out, how do you do that? Let's look at a process that we can implement as we're thinking about doubling our revenue. Identify one result your company already achieves constantly and document how it happens step by step, not phase by phase, but step by step. And if you've got a team around you, allow that team to document the success that they are getting constantly, right? Once you document that success, it becomes repeatable. You can hand that to someone else and say, here's how we get success with lead generation. Here's how we get success with having a 80% close rate. Here's how we get success with having increasing our customer lifetime value or our average order, whatever that success is for you, document it step by step because we're systemizing our wins. You want to replace personality-based execution with process-based reality. So whether you feel like doing it today or whether somebody doesn't feel like doing it tomorrow, when you have a process-based, reliable system, it's just plug and play. You get in your car, you turn it on, you drive it. It's reliable. You expect it to be reliable. You expect it to turn on. You expect that the windshield washers are going to work. You expect that the brakes are going to work. You expect that the radio and the heat and the air, and you expect all of those things that are going to work because it's a system. These things are running on a process. It's the same thing over and over and over and over. And I've heard this time and time again. When you get to those higher levels, it really does. The work gets boring because you're doing the same thing over and over and over. But what doesn't get boring is your own unique selling proposition. What makes your organization unique? What makes your leaders unique? What makes your culture unique? That doesn't get boring, right? But the processes themselves, yeah, they can get kind of boring. Build in feedback loops, right? So that as the system gets better, right? Or as you continue to run the system, you learn what needs to shift and what may need to get better without you having to touch it every single time. Someone else can monitor feedback loops. You can get technology to monitor feedback loops and to audit the process that you already have. So let's wrap this up. Let's bring it all home. Let's land the plane. When you think about doubling revenue, when you think about what milestone you're going to hit next, I want you to ask yourself, start with that first question. What does my company need from me? And what does my company need in order to double revenue? So take those three drivers that I mentioned. If you have your own and you have some more things that this brought up, make sure you run it through those filters as well. But the bottom line is, don't just throw a number out there and expect that you're going to hit it because you've hit numbers before, you've doubled revenue before. This time I want you to do it different. This time I want you to steward your gifts and steward your leadership well. So run it through those three drivers. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and share, because I will be sharing more leadership tips, more things about how clarity can help you to get measurable results and monetize what's already working. All right, again, I'm Karen Janine. I'm your AI Pro CFO. I simply help executives and leaders turn clarity into measurable results. All right, bye for now. I'll see you soon.